No, man, but you got to keep going. What am I going to do, quit? That's not an option. You got to keep on keeping on. Life's a garden, dig it. You make it work for you. You never give up, man. That's my philosophy.
Hey gardeners, hope you're all having a great week out in your garden. Right now, as you can see, we are checking out all of these just amazing blossoms all over our apple tree right now. It's got tons and tons of flowers. Even our other apple tree over here is filled with blossoms. We also got our pear tree, has a bunch of really great blossoms all over it as well too. So we got lots and lots of apples and pears to be looking forward to this year for sure. I just love this time of year too, when we're getting to see all these just amazing flowers throughout the garden. It just smells so awesome right now. I wish you all could smell through the camera right now, but it is just amazing. And I hope everything's growing awesome in your gardens. As I said, we've got a great show for you today. We've got Michelle's Garden Grows. We've got Honey Girl Grows. We're going to talk lots and lots about what's growing on in our gardens this year. All right, everyone, let's get growing. All my passionate plant people and garden enthusiasts. Welcome to Let's Get Growing show here on the Urban Gardener channel. I'm Enoch. I'm your host today, and we've got a fantastic show ahead for you today. We've got Robin Jones joining with us here a little bit later on in the show from Honey Girl Grows. It's been a while since we've seen Robin on the show, so it'd be great to have her back and see what she's been up to since we saw her last. Plus, we've got Michelle's Garden Grows as well, too, joining with us for our Are You Following Me segment coming up here in just a little bit here on the show. So thank you again, everybody, for being here. And if you can, real quick here, let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Yeah, that's right. Or like button first, I guess, then the subscribe button and the bell notification, and definitely share with all of your garden friends and let them know about the Let's Get Growing show right here on the Urban Gardener channel. And let them know here as well too. We are your 3-day gardening weekend right here on the Let's Get Growing show. We got 3 days of fun garden talk for you here in store this weekend. Again, we're here every Saturday, Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. And now new in 26, we are here as well on Monday evenings for the Green Room with our good friend Natalie from the Fresh Princess joins us as our co-host. And we have a couple of really great guests each and every Monday evening at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern as well. If you haven't had a chance to come check out the Green Room, you're definitely going to want to do that coming up. We got a great show too coming up. I'll let you know about here in just a little bit here coming up Monday. Also, if you are here with us right now, we're going to have a roll call here in just a few minutes. So I do want to make sure that you're all jumping into the chat there and letting us know you're here, letting us know where you're growing from, what you've got growing on in your garden. And jump in there. We will give you a shout out here in just a few minutes on our roll call coming up. Also, big, huge shout out to all of you who are watching our replay, though. Thank you so much for joining with us here on your time. And it's always awesome to have you all here with us as well, too. Just like everybody is doing here live, jumping in for roll call. I want to hear from all of you who are watching us on the replay as well, too. So definitely jump into the comment section. Let me know you're here. Let me know what you got growing on, where you're growing from, all that fun, same stuff. And if not, just drop by, say hello. And I love to see all of your comments on our replays. Excellent, everybody. And again, too, if you're in there jumping in for roll call, awesome. Definitely join in on the conversation throughout the show with our guests coming up as well, too. So definitely drop all of your questions you might have as well for our guests into the chat so that we can make sure we ask those of our guests when we have them on the show there. That's what makes the show so fun, is that you're here with us as well too, so you can be a part of these fun conversations we have with all of our great guests that we get here each and every weekend. Follow all the links down below as well too to our guests, and go check out what they've got growing on their channels and their pages. Go find some videos or posts or something and go let them know that you saw them here on the Let's Get Growing show. Excellent. Love it when you guys do that. Thank you so much for all of that awesome support of the show when you guys jump in there and show some support to our guests for spending their time with us here on the weekends and talking all about what they've got growing on in their gardens. And go over there, check out what they've got growing on, and let them know, like I said, that you saw them here on the show. Awesome, everybody. Again, thank you all so much for being here. It's great to have you all here with us. You guys make this show so much fun each and every weekend. So again, thank you all for being here. It's really great to have you here with us. I hope everything, like I said at the beginning, in your gardens is growing awesome, that you're getting out there and getting things going in your gardens. I know for some of you in the north, you're probably just starting to get out and get some things going in the garden space. Hopefully the weather's treating you all right wherever you're at. I know, again, too, a lot of us who are in the mid states or more south, we've had an opportunity to be out for a while now, and those southern gardeners have been gardening and doing things probably all winter. But I hope everybody now is starting to, really enjoy their garden spaces and getting an opportunity to get out there and get some things growing. I am finally, as you saw in the thing in the video at the beginning there, we've got some really cool fruit trees that I've got in containers throughout the garden spaces, and they're all blossoming and hopefully forming lots of great fruits for this upcoming growing season. I get really excited about the fruit trees, along with all of the other spring flowers and everything that's popping up. We got tulips all over the place that are just looking really awesome everywhere. So again, I love that part of the year when those things are just really starting to awaken in our gardens, and we're starting to bring some color and some excitement. And that's what makes, again, so those really cool spring flowers so amazing, is they just kind of really let us know the growing season is here. It's really time to get out and to be getting a lot of things growing in your garden spaces, or at least get things planned out for things coming up too. There's still all those warmer season crops and things that we'll do later on that need to be planted out as we get closer to our last frost date. But still lots and lots of things that we've been planting and growing and doing in this cooler part of the season. So again, I hope all of you have been getting out and enjoying your garden spaces. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and jump right into this here and see who we do have growing with us here today. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of a roll call.
My name is Kevin. Yeah. That is my name. Yeah. They call me Kevin. Yeah. Because that's my name. Roll call.
All right. Roll call time. This is where we get to, at the top of the show, get to hang out with all of you viewers, see who we've got in the show who join with us today. And if you are just joining at this moment or during this segment, definitely drop in. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're growing from, all of that. And obviously at the top, we have to say hi to our good friend Jay Dixon, our facilitator in the chat. Everybody keep an eye out in the chat there for all the links and information and different things that Jay will be popping into the chat there, as well as shout outs for anybody who might have a channel. If you haven't had a channel shout out as well too, let us know you're here. Let us know about your channel, and Jay can get a link for everybody else to go and check out what you've got growing on with your channel. So definitely do that, and Jay will get that taken care of for us. And Jay is joining us from Western Ontario, Canada, in the lee of Lake Huron. Thanks again, Jay, for being here. Great to have you here with us. We also have Nope with us here today. Hello. Hope everything's growing great for you. It's awesome to have you here with us today. We also see Sean the gardener with us. Great to have you, Sean. And says, I've been on a live stream since 3 p.m. today. Having a live stream day. That's awesome. We're always glad to see you here joining and making sure that you're here for us here on the Let's Get Growing live stream. So thanks for being here, Sean. Always awesome to see you here. And also from the UK, we've got Rob's Attic, Rob's Allotment Garden. How are you doing, Rob? It is great to see you. Good day to you, and always awesome to see you here in our chat, right along with Janet McDonald joining with us here. Janet, thank you so much for being here. It's awesome to have you here joining us from Central Texas, Austin, Zone 9A, after high 80s. Finally some rain for you. Oh, that's great. Definitely good to see rain in those areas for sure. Cooling to the 70s and deep soaking. That's awesome. Lots and lots of rain. I hope you get plenty of it. We could use, actually, it's been getting warm. I've been actually talking about this last couple of weeks. It's been getting warm around here quite a bit. We did get just a little bit of rain the other day, but I was like, we really need to get drenched. I could hope to see plenty more rain before we start to see some real summer temperatures, because it's already starting to feel like summer on some of these days that we've been having lately. So hopefully more rain will be coming our way as well too. All right, sowed my cucumbers, courgettes, and Brussels today. Awesome. I was just mentioning on last Monday's show about Brussels sprouts and how much I really enjoy them. But they were one of those foods that I would never have eaten when I was a kid. We talked about that on the last Green Room show last Monday, and I've got to get some Brussels sprouts started myself as well too, and see if I can't get some growing this year. Yeah, I really one of my favorites, actually. It's so difficult to grow though, especially in my area. Really difficult to grow, but it is always awesome when you do get some that come through. All right, we got Paul from Guten Gardening joining with us here. Hello, hope you're all doing well. Well, we hope you're doing well too, Paul. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here on the show with us today. Let's see here. We've got my beautiful edible garden. Thank you for being here. It's awesome to have you here, and hope you are doing well too. Thank you for joining us on the show. We got our friend Will from Big Will Dog in the Soil. He says, hello, fellow gardeners. A slightly cool one today in Indianapolis and rainy. Still got plants to get out and others to harden off. Awesome. Getting some rain. Excellent. Our other moderator in the chat as well too, Adam Burley, my good friend from right up the road here in Southern Oregon. He lives in Central Point. He says, mainly listening in today. I'm in the garden playing catch up. Yeah, Adam's always, that's the best way. One of the great ways of actually watching or listening into the show is putting us on your phone or something like that and setting us up there while you're out doing your garden chores and garden things that you got to get done. So good on you, Adam. Double duty, getting our show in while doing gardening at the same time. Great work. Excellent. My beautiful edible garden says, my garden is full of beautiful spring flowers. Yeah, like I was saying, isn't it? It's the wake up call we're all looking for when it comes to our garden spaces, when those spring flowers start popping up everywhere and all this color just starts to come out of this gloomy winter time and just wakens up our garden space. And we know we got a great year ahead of us. So definitely love the spring flowers. Hello. Great to see you, Wickershire Project. And hello, chat and plant nerds. That's right. A bunch of plant nerds hanging around talking gardening. That's what we love to do here on the Let's Get Growing show. Great to have you here with us, Wicker. Thank you so much. And Cold and windy in Leicester. Is that right? I'm not even pronouncing that name right. I know for sure. But yeah, excellent. We got looks like a pretty decent day coming ahead of us as well here too. Darth X in the conversation. Finally, a sunny day, and he has the day off. Excellent. Excellent. So now you got time to listen in on the show, and like Adam's doing, get out there in the garden space and do some growing, right? Nope. Says it's Cam from Las Vegas. Yes, awesome to see you. Las Vegas. Excellent. Sunny and cool today. Excellent. Cool days are nice days down there, aren't they? For sure. Wickershire says all dill and carrots up, all green wax pumpkins up, most poinsettia cukes up, 85% of the teddy bears sunflowers pop, most peas broke ground, all basil types sprouting. Man, things are just cooking in your garden. Awesome. That's great to hear. Bohemian Herbology in the chat as well, listening in from the grow room while dropping seeds. Looking forward to the fun chat. Awesome. Excellent. That's great. And let's see. Oh, we got our good friend Tony from Simplified Gardening was listening into our good friend Tony over at our other good friend Nate from Garden Like a Viking. If you want to go check out their conversation after the show, go check out Garden Like a Viking's channel. Tony was over there having a great conversation with Nate. So definitely go check that out for sure. And we got Habitual Hobbies in the chat as well too, joining us from South Missouri, and rainy day, good and rainy in southern Missouri. Awesome. And VA Green, good afternoon to you. Great to see you here. Thanks for joining with us on the show. Let's see here. We also got our friend Dusty Flats in the chat as well too, saying the brassicas are chomping to go out to low tunnels. Can't wait as they are taking up room. Yes, there you go. You got to get them out there. Open up that space, right? And Dusty says also the tulips are up 3 inches. Some areas are under flood watch in their area. Okay, awesome. Up 3 inches. Yeah, my tulips. I've already got tulips that are wearing out. I've got an early variety that popped up just a little bit ago. I've got some that are in a little later that pop up a little bit. They're coming up. And then I have some that come in there in a more shady area. So they take a little bit longer as well too to pop up. So they're about ready to really open up as well too. But yeah, love the tulip time of year for sure. Right on. Excellent. Well, again, everybody, thank you so much for being here. It looks like Tony says it's stormy over there. Dealing with some storms over there. Cool, wet day for most people, it seems like. Well, right on. Well, hopefully the storm isn't too bad and you can just enjoy getting a bit wet, right? Excellent, everybody. Again, thank you for dropping in for our roll call. It's great to see all of you here join with us as always. And if I didn't get a chance to give you a shout out there during roll call, just keep on jumping into the chat there and let us know you're here, where you're growing from and all of that. And leave all your awesome comments and questions and everything too. And we'll feature those throughout the show. But again, I think it's about time now for us to go ahead and take our first quick break here and do a little garden trivia, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes with our first guest of the day.
Ivory Organic was founded on the gardening concept of whitewashing, simply lightening your plants to better tolerate weather extremes, transplant shock, and so much more. Such a valuable gardening practice that farmers have been doing it since BC times. However, in recent years, most research has been caring for plants and trees using latex and tar-based products which are designed to last 100 years, but fall off your plants within 1 to 2 years as your plants grow, contaminating your garden soil indefinitely. Available in colors white or more natural looking colors such as brown, green, gray, and grayish. Ivory Organic has 2 general categories of whitewash products. The 3-in-1 Plant Guard, which includes 7 natural oils including castor, cinnamon, clove, garlic, peppermint, rosemary, and spearmint, which offer insect and rodent repellent protection, and the whitewash oil-free formula. Both products also have diatomaceous earth in the base ingredients, which naturally offer some insect repellent protection too. As always, keep growing with Ivory Organics, and wishing you all happy gardening.
Hi gardeners, I'm Brandy, the Suburban Gardenista, and I'm here today with your garden trivia question for this week. And your question for today is, which types of leaves, when left on your garden over the winter time, are a bit troublesome to new bulbs just peeking out of the earth come spring? And your options are A, birch, B, walnut, C, beech, or D, Norway maple. I'll be back a little bit later in the show with the answer.
So, all right. Do you know the answer to Brandy's trivia question today? Drop into the chat there. Let us know what you think the answer might be. And she'll be back with us here in just a little bit on the show here to give us the answer to this week's trivia question. Did you get a chance to check out the show last weekend? If you didn't get a chance to check out the show, I had the actual day off last Saturday, and our good friend and facilitator of the show, Jade Dixon, took over the show. She hosted the show and had a conversation with all of you, and our good friend and show contributor, Katrina from Sow and Tear, joined with her, and they had a great gardening conversation talking about all sorts of great things growing on in their gardens for this upcoming year. If you didn't get a chance to check out that show, go back, check out the conversation. Also, too, last week I was mentioning Tony on Nate from Garden Like a Vikings show. Well, Tony was also with us last week as well, too, to talk all about his new app that's hitting the market right now in these or here now in the coming weeks as well, too. This just really awesome, amazing growing gardening app that's unlike any of these other ones you see out on the market today. This is just completely different. This is basically just a really amazing gardening tool that you can use to just really optimize your garden. And if you want to know and learn a bit more about that, definitely go and check out last Sunday's show. And as well, too, we've got links down below to the Grow Track in our description as well for you to go and check this out. It's really, really some amazing stuff. You'll want to go and check out that conversation with Tony O'Neill from Simplify Gardening last Sunday on the show, so you can learn all about that. And then we were here, like I said, we were here 3 days every weekend talking all about gardening with all sorts of just really amazing people. And that's the same for our new show, The Green Room, on Monday evenings with Natalie, the Fresh Princess, joining us as our co-host. We had last Monday Texas garden guy Destin Noak joining with us, along with Phil from Phil's Figs. These two host the Garden Party podcast on Wednesday evenings, and joined with us to talk all about what they've got growing on this year as well. It's always great to get together with the party people there from the Garden Party podcast. It was a really fun conversation. You'll want to go back and check out that conversation from last Monday's show. And again, like I was saying, we'll talk about what we've got growing on and coming up for next week on the show as well, too, coming up here just a little bit later on the show. But yeah, it's about time. We've got a great first guest for you here today on the show. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. It's time for Are You Following Me?
Are you following me? Are you following me, dude?
All right, this week for Are You Following Me, we've got joining with us on the show today, Michelle's Garden Grows. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? Thank you for having me on here. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, doing great. Garden, like I was mentioning to everybody here, starting the show is just popping with just flowers everywhere. Things are just, colorful. It's just, one of those more exciting times of the year where, you're just out there just loving all this color and vibrancy. The garden's coming alive.
Mhm.
And especially for a lot of us, as I mentioned too, who are in the more northern climates, as things are just starting to wake up for a lot of us as well too. It's just a really great time of year. So how about you? Tell us real quick here. We'll just let you start off here by introducing yourself to everybody. Let everybody know about yourself here. And yeah, we'll dig right into what you
Okay.
got growing on this year.
Well, I'm Michelle from Michelle's Garden Grows, and I am actually in the total opposite side of the country as you. I am
Yeah.
in Southwest Virginia on
Yeah.
the east, and I'm a suburban backyard gardener, and we mostly, my husband and I, grow in raised beds, vertical planters on our deck, grow bags, and
Mm-hmm.
our climate here, we're in zone 7B. And you were talking about all the beautiful flowers popping up for spring in your area, but
Yeah.
some of ours is starting to fade because
Yeah.
you know how the lilies and stuff and the daffodils, they start getting kind of like spent
Mm-hmm.
out.
Yep. Yep.
We had a really, I guess you would call false spring here.
Oh,
We
yes.
had like 80 degrees like weeks ago. And
Mm-hmm.
then we had snow the next day. So just really crazy weather. And so things started blossoming and blooming, and then we got snow. And so things are, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously it's looking fresh now. Grass is green, everything's looking alive, but some of those spring flowers have started to fade a little bit here. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I garden in Southwest Virginia, and Virginia is kind of interesting because we also have Virginia Beach area, which is a total different kind of growing region.
Yeah.
Um, they have more, beach type weather, and they have a longer growing season. But where we are, we're in a valley, the particular city we're in, and then we have the mountains around us. So there's a lot of differences. Even in like 5 miles from me, there's a little bit of a different growing zone. But anyway, yes. So that is mostly we're, backyard gardeners, and we do not have a huge yard. Our front and backyard is probably half an acre or less. I don't remember exactly, but it's pretty small. But it's amazing what you can do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing I love. I mean, that's one of my biggest, things about what I do with my channel and everything as
Mhm.
well is small space gardening, you know, all the sort of stuff that you're talking about. I've got a lot
Yeah.
of containers, a lot of things. I'm just trying to utilize all sorts of different types of spaces because I don't have, traditional growing gardening spaces, like most
Are you
folks.
more urban or suburban?
Urban, yeah, yeah. I'm
Urban.
basic.
Okay.
I'm literally just like a couple of blocks right from my
Wow.
city's downtown, basically. So yeah,
That's amazing.
we do alleyway gardens. We got some rooftop stuff we do on our carports to take up space however we can. I've
Mm.
got a big flat cement back patio, so most of my stuff is container. But we do get some in ground. Like I said, we got some alleyway raised beds, some different types of in ground spaces where we can fit them in. Put stuff in there when we can. But
So
yeah, I love,
creative.
I love, I love, yeah, I love small
Hmm.
spaces. I love folks who are gardening and being creative with those spaces because that really helps open up the possibilities for other folks who are out there trying to learn about what they can do with their garden spaces as well, right?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit more about this garden space and what you've got growing in it and what you got planned for this year.
Well, we have a lot going on. We just harvested horseradish for the first time. That
Oh,
was very
wow.
interesting. My husband did that because it was
Yeah,
quite a feat to
yeah, yeah.
date. But we really, it was very interesting. But right now, behind me, I don't know if you can see it. I have my indoor seed starting
I love it.
shelf,
That is so great. I love it. It's
and
perfect.
I just planted out some of the cooler season stuff over the past, my husband and I, the past 2 days. We planted some celery, which is one of our favorites, and some snapdragons and the cooler weather flowers. I've got tomatoes on the shelf over here. They'll be going out. Our first frost, or last frost date rather, is usually around April 15th or 16th. But because we have a very unpredictable spring here, that's one of the tricky parts about where we live. It is unpredictable in the spring. So I usually
Mhm.
wait until May, even though the frost date says April 15th or so. Yeah. So I've
Yeah.
got stuff over here that will go out in May.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and that's kinda where I'm at as well too with a lot of stuff,
Mhm.
I do got a lot of things. I didn't really plant too much as far as, getting my cooler weather stuff started, but I've got a bunch of really cool volunteers and lots of greens and things like that that come up out in the
Mhm.
garden space, but a lot of my stuff right now is similar. I've got a grow station with lights and everything that's just
Mhm.
beyond all the cameras over here with all my peppers and tomatoes
Yeah, we've
that are
got
going
peppers on
in
the
and stuff.
shelf.
Yep, yep.
I did plant some
Eggplants and
stuff in the
things.
green. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying we got some eggplants and things like
Yeah.
that. All sorts of stuff that'll go in
No,
later that we
that's
don't direct seed, for
yeah.
our summer crops.
Okay. Yeah, that's one thing, the eggplant. I've never grown eggplant. One day maybe. But I did just plant in the vertical green stock planters. I did plant some lettuce, or direct sow lettuce, and a bunch of herbs. And we've got some of the perennial herbs that are out in the garden. The chives, they're beautiful right now. So there's,
Mhm.
sage is out there. I can see that. We have strawberries starting. So there's a lot going on out there, even though we're not there yet. So
Yeah,
not,
and and
not
and
to
that's
summer yet.
great thing about making sure you've got, perennials and these sort of things, perennial herbs and those, all sorts
Yes.
of really cool, like, perennial type stuff because those are things you can just look forward to popping up and getting green and getting,
Yes.
vibrant again as the season starts coming without having to do much of anything until you find time to kind of prune them up and get them all, cleaned up a little bit after winter, right?
Right. And the older I'm getting, the more I want to have more perennials.
Yes, exactly. Less work, or at
Yes.
least and work on your time though, right?
Yeah.
Versus having to have all these other things that we're trying to
Hmm.
time out in our gardens with our, last frost dates and soil temperatures and things like that, right?
Right. Right.
Right
Hmm.
on. So let's go back a little bit here and let's talk a little bit. One of the things we love to talk about here on the show is folks, different gardeners, garden stories. Tell us a little bit about how your gardening story got started. Is this something that happened way back in the day when you were young, or is this something that you came to later in life?
Well, I definitely came to gardening later in life at age
Okay.
48.
Oh, okay.
And so
Excellent.
I'm only on my 6th year of gardening. I'm 50. I just turned 53. So,
Okay.
but I
Love
will
it.
go back a bit because my first exposure to gardening was as a child, and it was
Hmm.
not the best exposure because I didn't want anything to do with it. Back in the early 80s, way back, way
Yeah,
back in the
yeah,
early
I know.
80s,
Oh, yeah, I know,
I was
huh?
a little girl, and my dad, I do remember my father planting. He only did it like 2 years, I think. He must have given up on it. I don't know. But I remember him growing what you would call a traditional row garden, like lots of rows, and it was like a big rectangle with rows. Um, you know,
Yeah.
all the same thing planted in the rows, and it was in the middle of a hot field, well, which is good for the vegetables, but miserable for the person working in it.
Right.
And he puts, I don't know if you know what this is for the viewers, seven dust. Do you know what seven dust is?
I've
Not to
I've
harm,
heard of it. I've never
yeah,
used it or
it was
anything,
used a
but
lot in those days, I think. And a lot of people try to grow organically now. And if you don't, I'm not judging you or anything. But I just remember my father, we must have lots of pests or whatever, but he would put that white powder all over
mm.
all of his plants. It's like a dust, seven dust, and it's a white
Yeah,
powder. I don't even know what's in it, but I think they finally changed it or something,
yeah,
because I don't think it was very healthy for the
right.
pollinators or people or whatever.
Yeah,
But I guess it,
you don't hear much about it anymore, so
no, no. And maybe I shouldn't bring up name titles or, brands. But anyway, he put this white dust on everything.
yeah.
And so, and it just looked miserable, the garden he had and him working at it. So that was my first exposure. And I was probably about 7. But then a couple years later, I don't remember exactly when, we would visit my aunt and uncle, his sister, and the adults would be inside talking. And I was a little girl, so I wanted to get away from all the boring talking. So I would go outside and pretend and play out in their yard. And they had this wonderful kitchen garden, what I would call like a kitchen garden, but it was pretty big. It was in ground, but it was right off of their front porch, right in their front yard where you could, or
Mhm.
backyard right out their back porch. And I would just go around, and it was so like charming and fun for a child to kind of run around in. And that I really liked. I remember that having a positive impact on me. I'm like, this looks a lot different than my father's garden. It
Yes.
was fun, and there were cabbages, and there were, something like you'd see in a book kind of. So that was, I think that a little seed was planted with that, because I spent a lot of time out there playing because I was bored with the,
Right.
the adults talking indoors. And so I'd pretend and play in that garden. So fast forward to when I'm in my 20s. You know how life gets really busy when you're in your 20s. You go to
Oh my,
college, if you go to
yes.
college or whatever. And so I was busy with college career, as a nurse. I went to nursing school. I'm a nurse, and got married, children, taking care of an elderly parent, working, just life. You can understand. We all stay so
Hmm.
busy. But I just probably for about 20 some years, 25 years, my life was just go, 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 go. It was just very busy. And I was kind of I don't know, a very high energy type person anyway. And so I had in the back of my mind, oh, I'd like to grow something. I'd like to grow something, but I just never could. Like I'd start to do something, and I could never stick with it. Even planting some perennial flowers,
Yeah.
landscape flowers. I would always get distracted and with life. And there came a time when my husband and I bought the house we're in now about 15 years ago. When we moved here, there was a big garden box out in the backyard,
Ah,
but it was this massive square, just this
yeah.
real, I don't know how large it was. It was just like this big square wooden box that I guess they grew something in. And so my husband tried to plant some tomatoes in it. And then, of course, he got busy with his work and job. And so the kids and he said, can you guys go out and weed that, the garden? But it was this big box that you couldn't even reach into it. You had to get into it
Yeah.
to weed it or get anything out of it. And I said, this is miserable. And I just gave up on that for him. It was his little tomato garden. But fast forward to 2021 is
Okay.
when I was inspired by, I'd never really been on Instagram much before, but I had gotten on Instagram, and somehow I saw a video of someone that inspired me. And I thought, oh, now that looks like something I really would like to do. Like
Yeah.
I could visualize what she was doing, and it was really beautiful. And so I asked my husband, well, I guess it was probably 20, anyway, doesn't matter. Asked my husband,
Mhm.
do you think we could build something like this? Trellises and some garden beds. And he said, yeah, let's do it, because he kind of likes gardening too. He's just never
Yeah.
been able to get into it, but he's had the itch to do it. And so he, started working on the backyard, clearing the space with some type of little bit of heavy equipment. I don't remember what the machine was. Um, but anyway, he rented it and got it leveled out. And then he built some little wooden beds, and we used cattle fence for the trellising. You've probably seen that before,
Yeah.
a lot of you.
Hmm.
A lot less
I
expensive
have a
than
couple
buying those.
myself. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's a lot less expensive than, buying some of those that are, made to be a trellis. But anyway, so he made this beautiful garden space right out our back door. And I mean, it wasn't fancy, but it was, to
Mhm.
me, we put, mulch down and gravel, and there was a path to it. And so I'm the type of person, if I have the right tools and the right setup, then I'm more into doing it. But if it looks
Yes.
miserable and like not the right tools, I don't want anything to do with it. So
Yes,
this
exactly.
really helped me finally in my life. At the time, I finally had a margin in my life that I could find the time to do that. And
Hmm.
it really changed my life, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
kind
of
of
people
amazing.
say,
Kind of
mhm,
amazing how gardening can do that.
yeah.
Similar story for me though. I didn't find gardening until I was later in life. And there were a lot of things going on in my life. I really, and kind of found this little thing, growing food and stuff. It was just kind of interesting how it came about. I'd always grown house plants. I've always kind of had an interest in that. And that, that kind of grew from when I was a
Mhm.
kid and everything. But growing food and doing like outdoor gardening and things wasn't till later.
Mm.
But similar, and I was going to ask you about this though too. For me, I found it to be something that was just really something that really kind of helped me deal with things that were going on in my life and everything too. So I found a really kind of it to be in this kind of like savior space. That's how garden saved me and changed my life in a sense too. But you mentioned that you're a nurse, you know, and all of that too. So is there anything that you've kind of noticed yourself through from your own professional life to what you're spending in your space and that sort of stuff that kind of, you know, reflects in any similar way, you know, in that sense? Or
Yeah, definitely. For me, part of what I love about gardening personally is that I love the learning part of it, the science part of it, but also it's so complex. It's not just
yeah,
it's not just science. It's also art in a way. It's
yeah,
creativity.
yep,
But, you know, there's lots of studies out there about, you know, getting our hands in the soil and the microbes and, you know, what that does to our, you know, neurotransmitters and all that stuff. But yeah, it was really the first time in my life, like I said, the margin of time was the right time for me when we didn't have as many crazy things going on in life. Our kids had gotten, I wish, one thing I do regret, I wish I could have started gardening when my kids were smaller. They were in their last year of high school and starting college the year I started. So, but they've really enjoyed watching what I've been doing too. But anyway, back to, yes, it really was a healing in some ways, because I did have kind of not to go into details, but
yeah,
life, even my childhood was kind of
yeah,
interesting in some ways, that
hmm,
later in life when I was able to slow
I can
down,
relate.
and with gardening, it really was a healing. It's been a very healing
Yeah,
process. And, you know, as a nurse, I do see, I'm not working as a nurse right at the moment. I've taken a good long break from that for now, but I will probably go back into some measure of that in the future. But I do see how, you know, there is so much. My nursing background, I was trained to observe and notice and care for, you know, care for
yeah,
people and notice details. And, you know, I kind of bring that right into the garden too. And which
yeah,
that's good. Like I can notice if a plant has, you know, that's struggling, or I see, you know, an insect or whatever. But
yeah. I
um,
didn't think about it that way, but that's
yeah,
true. Yeah,
that's
you
one
got
way.
that
I'm
real
like,
kind
boy,
of
this
like
is, my
real.
husband always says I'm so detail oriented. And it's like, oh, I can be really detail oriented in the garden and as a nurse, because it's good to
Yeah,
have a nurse who pays attention to every detail, because
exactly.
um, and also in the garden, it works out too, but it doesn't work out
Yeah,
so well in, you know, life with relationships and stuff and living in a
right.
home. You got to be careful with that. But I do have, there is a book called The Well Garden Mind, and it's
Yes.
written by, have you ever read that
I haven't
book?
read it, but I've
It's
seen
by
it. Yeah.
Sue Stewart Smith, and she is a psychotherapist in the UK. And
Mm.
my son got me the book a couple years ago, and she goes into all like the science part of how gardening, and there's also anecdotal stories. She's a gardener herself, but she goes into some of the science behind why gardening is so good for our minds, and not just for healing, but like also helping us weed our minds out. She said
Yeah,
our
yeah.
minds need to be weeded as well. And
Right.
so it's just a really interesting book with a lot of research and stuff in
Yeah,
it.
I'm
So,
definitely gonna have to get
yeah.
that and read that one
So,
for
but
sure.
yes, I say
Maybe even
yes to
have it
all the
on our
things you
book
asked.
club for
Yeah, that'd be
yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Right on. Excellent. Well, tell me a little bit now too. So, you know, you find gardening, you get this thing growing, you were inspired by it sounds like someone else who was online sharing their garden space and
Hmm.
that what made you decide to turn on a camera to start covering and sharing your garden with folks out there yourself?
Well, it kind of happened by accident because, as I said, I didn't know much about Instagram at all. I was on
Yeah.
Facebook, but not even on Facebook that much. But I was on Instagram and starting to understand it a little bit. And then it really was like this innocent, childlike
Yeah.
uh, thing I was doing. I was just, because the garden was so new to me, as stuff started growing, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. The bee on that zinnia. And, you know, just really like childlike wonder. And so then I got my, you know, my iPhone. And I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
I'm going to take a picture of that, and I'm going to take a video of that. And um, another
Yeah.
creative outlet, I guess. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh, and that's about the time you might know, is it 2020 or 2021? Somewhere around that time, Instagram started doing the reels and the videos.
Right.
Like TikTok. I'd never had TikTok, but I guess TikTok had the videos first, and then later Instagram started doing the reels. But it was right around that time people were really getting into doing videos, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm going to take a video, and then the next thing, I'm sharing it. And something I didn't mention is that when I first we started that garden May, June 2021, and by August I was on Instagram sharing, and some of my first garden friends, I got into a garden group. I think Happy Heart Gardens, Rebecca. I think
Yep.
you had her on here,
Yep.
and Julia DeMacos and Lexi from
Julia will
Lexi's.
be on here real soon
We
as
all
well.
got
Yeah.
into a garden group, and on like the DMs, you can make like a group or whatever. And we're still in that group. We don't talk as much now because we've all gotten really busy, but we all kind of connected. And I really learned a lot from some of them because they were ahead of me, not
Hmm.
some of them further, like 6 years ahead of me. And so it was just really, they were sharing stuff. I was,
Yeah.
it just kind of
You just
evolved.
found your way
And
into, again,
my
to the
name is,
greatest community out there, the
yeah,
gardening community.
that's
So,
true.
yep.
And Michelle's Garden Grows, the name, like, I don't know if I would have known all this. I would have probably chosen a different name, but I
Mhm.
literally just chose, I didn't know what I was doing with Instagram. And I said,
Yeah.
oh, Michelle's Garden Grows.
Yeah.
Enoch's
Now it's
Garden
yours.
Grows.
Yeah. Now it's yours.
And so I'm like, well, I wish I could change it a little bit, but I just stuck with it. So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's fun though too. Again, like I said, it's great to connect with and then even go that next step further and start sharing what you're doing with everyone else as well too, and connecting with people in that way,
Mhm.
through sharing online and all of that too. It's again one of the things that we love about the gardening community is just all this amazing people out there who again are just sharing so much really awesome stuff, with us out there to, and making those connections as well too. So that's just really awesome. I really again, tell us real quick here before I let you go though,
Mhm.
a little bit about what you got growing and coming up here in 2026. Any new plans, any big plans or anything you're thinking about doing here in this upcoming year?
Yes, what we're doing, I'm looking at the backyard as I'm looking at the camera here. It's kind of a
Hmm.
mess right now because
Oh yeah, I
what I
know.
didn't tell
Ooh.
you is that when we started that first garden, my husband built wooden garden beds and they lasted for 4 years. And they started, he took shortcuts because we were trying to get things going. It was just really cheap
Hmm.
wood, untreated pine. And
I've
so
done a
they
few of those.
started deteriorating in 4 years. And so we decided to get metal garden beds, raised beds. And so we did that transformation last spring. And we have two more beds that we are transitioning like right now
Oh,
this
excellent.
week to our last two raised beds. Actually, my husband wants to add two more somewhere else. But
Uh,
anyway,
Add 'em
so we've
on,
got
add 'em
that.
on. See, he's
Yeah.
catching the bug here for sure.
Yeah.
Or at least he likes building these beds up then,
Oh
right?
yes, he is like, the force behind all of my ideas. So but yeah,
That's
we've
great.
got that going on. We've got I'm trying to grow more native plants. Not
Mhm.
all native, but more native plants in the
Yes,
landscape.
definitely.
I grew milkweed, swamp milkweed, the last 2 years, and it was just so enjoyable to watch the monarchs lay their eggs and
Yeah.
watch the caterpillars. That was really fun. So I've kind of gotten into trying to make the backyard more like this, biodiversity hotspot, like learning
That's right.
all.
There you go.
That's one thing I really would like to encourage lots of people to do because I'm learning it, and I think it's such a wonderful,
Mhm.
wonderful thing to do. It's stewardship of your own backyard or front yard, to make it where
Yeah. I love it.
plants, animals, insects, all of it can kind of work in a
Yep.
system that's good for people and the earth.
Yes, great to have the biodiversity,
Yeah.
just having, these sort of building these sort of systems into, what would, we want to be somewhat traditional and growing food and being able to do
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But yeah, having all these natives in our gardens, encouraging pollinators. And I'm sure we're going to have a really great conversation with our next guest coming on
Yeah.
about all of this sort of stuff too. It's just, again, I
That's
think it's one of the great things about learning and getting into gardening is we start from some, one place, and then we end up in this just amazing garden space that's, full of just all this, again, season after season, learning things. I've added more natives. I've done more with making sure that, I'm working with integrated pest management, making sure I'm bringing in things and not having to use, Seven Dust or different
Yes,
things.
by the way, I don't use that.
I know. I'm just saying,
I know.
but you know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
I've learned so much through the process of
Right.
gardening and being a part of this community to have
Yeah.
really, just a real diverse garden space, which is really great.
There's so much to learn, and it's very exciting to be able, gives you
Yeah.
such purpose to know that you're doing something good for yourself and the earth, and
Yeah.
people.
Right
So-
on, Michelle. Thank you so much again for joining with us here for our Are You Following Me segment here on our show. It's just really great to get to meet you and to learn a little bit about what you've got growing on in your garden space and a little bit about your garden story. And for everybody else who's watching with us right now, definitely get into the description below. Grab that link to her channel and go over and check out what she's got growing on over in her garden, and let her know that you saw her here on the Let's Get Growing show. Thanks again, Michelle, for being here. It was really
Thank
awesome to have you.
Thank you for having me, and have a great day and great
Excellent.
week. Enjoy spring.
That's right. That's right. You too. And hopefully we'll see you
Okay.
again here soon. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Hey gardeners, thanks for tuning in to our show today. We'll be right back at it here in just a moment. I just wanted to take a second here to highlight our regular videos and features here on the Urban Gardener channel. Our weekly garden journals, and our incredible featured visits.
I'm back with the answer to this week's trivia question. Do you know which leaves are a bit troublesome in the springtime when they're left on the garden all winter long? The correct answer is D, Norway maple. Norway maple leaves take a while to break down, and although they're still great in the garden and can provide nutrients and protection to plants and critters, they can smother new emerging bulbs and plants come springtime. Some plants like tulips or daffodils can even poke through the leaf and then get choked out a bit, which can affect the plant's health and potential for blooms. If you have leaves on your garden that take a while to break down, like Norway maple, you may want to go and take a walkabout every few days and fluff up those leaves, just so those new, beautiful emerging plants have no resistance at all. And that's your garden trivia for today. Thanks so much for playing. Enjoy the rest of the show, and be sure to pop by and say hi at the Suburban Gardenista on YouTube and Instagram, and there'll be links for you down in the description below. Thanks again, and happy springtime!
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much, Brandy, for the garden trivia this week. Did you get the answer to her question correct today? Well, I hope you did, and I hope you go and check out Brandy over at the Suburban Gardenista. And again, thank you to Michelle from Michelle's Garden Grows for joining with us here today as our first guest on the Are You Following Me segment. And real quick here, before we get moving on, we've got a really great guest coming up here in just one moment. But I want to let you know about our upcoming book Club. That's right. Each and every month on the third Sunday of the month, on our Sunday edition of the show, we have our monthly gardening book club where our good friend, Mr. MBC, Mark Boucher Colbert, joins us as co-host. And this month on the monthly gardening book club, we've got joining with us Emily Murphy, author of the book Grow Now. We're featuring Grow Now, and Emily will join with us on April 19th, third Sunday of the month, to talk all about this just really awesome book. Just really been enjoying this book. I can't wait to have a conversation with her and our good friend Mark coming up here in just a couple of weeks. So you have enough time maybe to grab a copy and read it up real quick and join us for that book club. But you don't have to read the book. You can just come for the awesome conversation, and maybe you'll want to get the book afterwards. So definitely come and join with us for the book club. So, all right, everybody, hopefully our guest is ready to go here, but it's time for our featured guest.
You never know when you might learn something, and that's what this is about for me. These are people that I admire. Please welcome my next guest.
All right. Let's see here. I don't see the screen up yet, so let's give our guest just one moment here. Maybe check the screen there. Right there we go. Let's welcome to the show.
I didn't know it was gonna be on screen. Oh no.
Yeah, of course. That's what we're all about here. I got you
This
now.
is what I look like Saturday morning.
That's perfect. It's all right. I think a lot of us feel the same. So
You said it was audio only.
no, we're a live show.
Okay,
We've
that's
had you
okay.
on before. You've been on before. You've been our
Yeah.
guest before here.
This
But
is my guest
it's
turn.
wonderful to have you back too. I mean,
Oh,
again, I've just been
yeah.
following along with so many awesome things that you've had growing on. So can't wait to kind of get in and talk about all of that sort of stuff. But just for a minute, though, I would give you a chance to introduce yourself to everybody and let everybody know about yourself and Honey Girl Grows.
Yep. So my company is now 12 staff, which is insane, and 11
That's awesome.
properties. We just added a major motion picture company or studio that we're putting a regenerative farm.
Yeah, I saw that. That's great.
We design, tend, and install edible orchard, and we specialize in pollinator projects as well. So that's like the shortest I can say that. We also do cut flower gardens and tea gardens that are extremely bespoke for celebrities and other residential clients. We have several Michelin star chefs. We helped one of them win a Michelin Green Star, which is for their regenerative efforts in their kitchen and waste. And we consulted them on zero waste, and they now have 3 Michelin stars plus the Green Star. So, and they're just fabulous. We design corporate. I've designed several hotel projects for edible garden, chef gardens as well. So sometimes we do just the design work. Most of the time we do the design, the install, and the tending, which makes us extremely unique. Most don't do the whole package like that. And then we do, lawn replacement. A lot of people talk about how lawns are terrible. Well, people want lawns very much. And the native lawns are actually an endangered ecosystem. Less than 1% in California exist. And so we do lawn replacements with grass that looks exactly like grass. And you can mow it or you don't have to. And it uses far less, up to 1/8 the water of regular grass.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, once it's established, it's really hugely water saving. And it also supports some of our native butterflies. So that's really cute that we get to see them all the time when it blooms. And some of them you don't have to mow at all. You can just let them go, like kind of a soft wild look. But we have clients with kids and dogs, like 3 kids and a dog, and they stand up to them. And so native grasses are really important. So whenever people say no lawns, I'm like, but
But there are always some interesting buts to most things, which is kind of is
Exactly.
something when it comes down to it. We can
Totally.
we can think about it just a little bit deeper. We can find some more, better options when it comes to stuff. I think about that. We had on our last book club Gary Pilarchik and talk about edible landscapes, and they really went on a tear over lawns and all of that. And I agree with a lot of most all of the sentiments when it comes to it, but
Most of
there
those
are folks who want to have some lawn. There are folks who just want to have some
many
lawns. You
folks,
mentioned people with
kids,
kids,
people with
pets,
kids,
that sort of
dogs
stuff.
want art. And
Yeah,
or they want even just a small space that they can sit. And like we have one yard I was in yesterday. It's a stunning garden. There's no lawn.
yeah,
Um, and it was actually the client's idea, so kudos to her.
yeah.
But she wanted a
Nice.
mini meadow for her child to lay down in, and it's all time. It's shade, so we were able to do all time, and we mixed in little petite viola, so it's really lovely. It's come in finally, like completely, and it's just absolutely dreamy. It's full shade though, so we couldn't do like you could in other states. You have it that cute pink time other people can use in other states, but we can't. It's too hot and dry. But people want an area
Yeah,
to sit and have low cover. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and then they have dogs and kids. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, one of the things too is like I said, I agree with a lot of the sentiments folks have with lawns. In fact, my neighbor and I are planning to do some things with the front lawn space of ours, and so I get a lot of that why people would want to convert and do certain things, but I don't want to go to the point of like lawn shaming. Let's again, I like where your solution there is like we got other options though. We can do this instead, and and it'll be a lot better for your space, and you'll be able to use it the same way that you're like,
Yeah, and especially in the current political climate of shaming things that are non-native. Um,
right.
Dr. Sammy, actually, these are his words. He's an entomologist, and he said it really well about honeybees because he was talking about how honeybees are an introduced species, not an invasive species, and
Yeah.
said at best to talk about them as if they're non-native, so they don't belong, is xenophobic at the worst and very misunderstood science at its best.
Oh
So,
yeah.
and the shaming of plants is so trendy right now. And
Hmm.
it's very, Michael Pollan wrote about it in one of his recent books, and he wrote really lovely about it. He wrote very perfectly about it. And he talks about the dozens of native species or species we call native that are not,
Yeah.
that and so many of those flowers, flowering plants even, are considered sacred by indigenous people, and yet they were uh, naturalized, just like the honeybee.
Right.
So there's so much righteousness in plant shaming by people who are not native themselves, whose majority of food that they eat is also not native. It's bizarre.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
if you're gonna go eat foods that aren't native and be white
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
stolen land, it's bizarre to go
Yeah.
shaming plants. So, and now I understand the importance of native plants. We put them in a huge number of every single
Yeah,
garden.
yeah, and you
They are
you spend a line of time too also talking about the importance of them as well
they are
too. I mean,
critical.
that's one, and
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I love about following some of your content though too, is that sort of perspective though. It's a deeper, more scientific perspective or thoughtful in a sense when we're thinking about
And
things versus, being direct or, again, gray areas versus black and white, looking at certain issues
it's really
especially
hard
when it
to
comes to
learn that. And it
plants.
was really hard for me to learn it with
Mhm.
bees because raising beehives, you learn, oh, things are completely different for people who have a hive, even 1 canyon away from you. Their
Yeah.
bees are thriving and yours are suffering and starving. But so
Yeah.
at first I was just like most people, and I would assume that it was the same for everyone. It's not. It's everybody's ecosystem can be really small, even in the
Mhm.
same city, which is nuts, but that's how it's truly the truth. Um, one of the things I'm always reminding people in other states, because in other states, an all native plant menu can be really ideal. But in California, we're in the drought end, especially in Southern California.
Yeah.
Native plants only in gardens leave our native pollinators starved from August through January. And this year we were 90 in
Yeah.
January.
Yeah, it's amazing, huh?
It's
What are we in
horrible.
store with for later?
So,
But that was
yeah,
something else, huh?
it's terrible.
But
So,
yeah, I mean, again, there's just so much more to be thinking about when we do that. I
yeah.
mean, I agree with, and I move myself, as I was even talking to the last guest and everything, is about, even converting and putting more things within my garden, native things and stuff. But it's great to have this diversity in our garden. Like you're saying, there's things we could have in our plant that might not be native, but are going to produce flowers and food basically, in a sense, at
And
a
our
different time
language
of year,
matters.
right?
Like the word only is, we need to have more flexibility. And
Hmm.
whenever I say that, people are like, but people don't realize the importance of native plants. And all I can say is it's all I see in here. So I don't know how that's true.
Yeah.
I think people are catching on. It's
Yeah.
spoken about so intensively and so passionately by so many. People are not foreign to the subject now.
Yeah, that's true for
Cities
sure.
are even mandating, I think San Diego is next in Southern California, mandating that plantings in city areas are going to be native. So, and
Mm,
they're, what do you call it, HOA, homeowners associations that are
yeah.
now allowing a native plant only landscape. So it's really spreading quite big. It's
Yeah.
not it's not an unknown thing anymore. It's not news to most.
Right.
I would say, unless you weren't in the gardening field at all, you know.
Right. Right. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, again, too, it's great to be able to support, native pollinators and all that sort of stuff, right? I mean, it's great to be able to do that, but it's also great to have some of these other kind of cool things in our spaces as well, too, right?
Yeah, I mean, like your last guest, that's the native. All we do,
Mm,
or all we plant, the majority of what we plant is
mm,
edible.
yep.
And a lot of our native plants are tea plants. So I'm
Hmm.
doing double duty with them. And then, I mean, the thing that really surprises most of my staff when they first come to work for me is that everything we're doing is kind of doing that. Like, I'm borrowing indigenous wisdom, which
Yeah.
hippie white males have rebranded as permaculture, but that's really indigenous wisdom. And credit is due where it came from. And so we're encompassing those principles,
Yeah.
their wisdom, into gardens by having plants work together instead of
Yeah.
against each other. And those native
Exactly.
plants, we're using those native plants, for instance, as a tea garden, but also as a permaculture, or what do you call it? We call it a native hedgerow.
Okay.
So that's not a term that's that common in the United States, but in Europe it's extremely common because you have huge plots of land and then you have like a forest surrounding it.
Hmm.
And so that's there are studies done by the Audubon Society. You can find them. Native hedgerows. So they're just the rows of native plants that surround whatever you're farming,
Yeah.
your edible garden even. They flipped the quotient of pest bugs versus beneficial pollinators and bugs. So
Hmm.
increase the number of birds immensely. And they flipped the quotient of pest bugs to good beneficial bugs by 80%. Massive protection for
Wow.
your garden. Natural, 100% organic protection for your garden,
Wow.
just by planting native plants around what you're growing. Now,
Yeah.
also in
See, and they can
between,
just work well together,
yeah, totally symbiotic. And that's what we're doing at
not
our.
one versus the other kind of thing.
Exactly. You don't have to say, it's definitely not I mean, it's really great and important that people understand that there are keystone native plants that are designed really to pair, just like or every time I see an orchid, for instance, I think
Mhm.
there's a moth out there or a butterfly or something,
Yeah.
some insect that looks exactly like this orchid. And that's such
Mhm.
a wild idea, but it's true.
Yeah.
So same is true for native plants, specific ones. They're called keystone plants. They support, they were designed to sustain species, specific species. So there's
Yeah.
a pollinator out there that needs it. Most native bees need specific native plants. And so when you can choose those, you're really supporting them in a bigger way than just any native plant you're planting. But
Yeah.
any is better than none.
Exactly. And I was going to ask you about this too. Again, in a similar way of looking at natives versus non-native things in our garden spaces, how things can be viewed really in a real black and white terms. I know that you are big with keeping bees, and bees are an important thing as well too. What is kind of that or what is kind of the difference? And I hear a lot about this as I talk to a lot of people. I got really interested into beekeeping and was just, really kind of fascinated with the whole idea and was checking things out and everything. And then I got to learn a little bit more about native bees and native pollinators and these sort of things. And then I started like, so I've kind of been in this middle ground trying to figure things out and everything. What is your position when it comes to keeping honeybees versus doing things for native bees?
So it's not, I would say we haven't been doing enough for native bees for decades.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid, so and before that I don't think we thought about them. And when I was a kid, we used to see far more native bees. It was
Right.
it was kind of like in late 2019, 2017. I remember
Yeah.
thinking, where are they all? Because I used to see them in gardens all the time. It's like the bumblebees vanished. And that's what's happening. They are actually dying in their nests from the heat. So honeybees are also under great threat from climate warming. All
Yeah.
species are, but all pollinators are especially. We have
Mhm.
changed plants, and their proteins are now half what they used to be, which is terrifying. So if you're an insect that eats pollen, or a non-insect like pill bugs eat it, or lizards or other creatures that eat it, then you now have to forage and find twice the amount, eat twice the amount. Imagine if you had to do this at your house, and then poop
Yeah.
twice the amount to get
Yeah.
the same amount of protein. It would be horrific.
Right. Oh my gosh. I couldn't imagine, right?
Store twice as often, and their work to get the groceries is much harder. But to answer
Yeah.
your question, I was the science came out on this, I don't know, started coming out and repeating with university scientific studies that were random and published, and the whole thing. And I have a note on that to remember to ask me about the LA fires.
Oh yeah.
And so I guess it was like 6 years ago. And I was like, okay, all the beekeepers I know are sticking their heads in the sand about this, like they are ostriches. Like, I don't see it, I don't hear it, I'm going to pretend it's not happening. I'm not talking about
Mhm.
it because I love my bees. And I was like, Robin, you can't do that. That's just not who I am, A. And B, it's wrong, right? Like, if I'm introducing species that are harmful to others, that's not okay. So how
Yeah.
do I protect them? First I have to decide, how are honeybees hurting them? So I read all the science, and the
Yeah.
Cornell University science made it really clear that honeybees threaten native bees by spreading disease. That's
Mhm.
one way. The other way is they outnumber them, and so that alone is not a big deal.
Yeah.
This was probably true for decades. They've been here over 100 years, right? So
Yeah.
they're naturalized, but they've been here a long time. So what changed? There are fewer flowers,
Yeah.
less food, there's more competition. Honeybees, the recent data shows that they will out forage every creature and take all the pollen and put it in their hive, even if they don't need it. We see it.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
freeze those frames, and they don't need them. And they're actually a nuisance to us because they'll take up these huge numbers of frames, with pollen, and they'll bank it. It's like if you filled your entire pantry with pollen, that's what they do. And then you don't have room for anything else because it's full of pollen. I'm trying to find you a picture. I don't know if I can share it this well on here, but we just had someone, my beekeeper just sent me a picture. Anyway, so we actually set those frames out for others to rob out from the bees to give them back. So
Yeah.
Honeybees are more efficient. They are, if they're not treated, beekeepers don't know how to treat, and overwhelmingly, they have no clue how to treat. And I know this because I used to be on Twitter. I banned Twitter, some time ago. But I used to be on Twitter, and I would see from other countries these beekeepers make comments, photos, and videos, and I was stunned. They had no idea what they were doing, and they were commercial beekeepers. They had hundreds of hives, and they had no idea how to treat or what they were looking at with the frame. And I could see in their photo on social media. So I was like, oh, they're starving. You need to feed them. Or, oh, I could see this from afar. That's bad.
Yeah.
So I learned, and that was a shock to me. So honeybees need to be treated to prevent disease. And the ones in the wild, obviously we can't do that. All honeybees, about 50% plus, last year I think it was 70%, collapse every year. They're collapsing from disease, from a mite that came over with the Sears catalog, when you could order honeybee hives in the Sears catalog.
Oh my God. Yeah. You could order anything from that thing back in the day.
It's a parasite that's actually beneficial to Asian bees and is detrimental to ours. And it's hit Europe, it's hit Australia, and Australia is burning hives to deal with it. It's not working. And so you have to learn to treat. And so keeping bees alive is so much harder than keeping chickens. If, for instance, you or anyone else keeps chickens, so much harder. I've trained people who are experts in chickens, like my friend Ann from Real Hens of Orange County. And I love her. And she, trained with me, and she was excellent as a beekeeper. She's science-minded, she's meticulous, she's paying attention, and she loved it. But she was like, this is so much more complex than keeping chickens. So what I say to people is, so I told you in the beginning how many properties we're managing, how many gardens we've designed and installed that we're tending. 12.
Yeah.
Guess how many hives we have?
How many? Oh,
6.
6 altogether.
That's a lot for me to manage from afar. And I have, and I'm not even doing the beekeeping, but I'm checking the notes from afar to manage their health and make sure they never get sick. I haven't lost a hive in over 11 years.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
Not a single hive. So I know how to keep hives healthy. When hives are healthy, and because of this whole learning that honeybees were harming native bees, I developed the first global regenerative beekeeping principles. I was really upset about other beekeepers not knowing how to do this. And I thought, I'm not going to be the only one who wants to do better by honeybees and native bees. I want many other people are going to want to do better by the bees, right? So I put into practice, and thanks to that Michelin restaurant who was willing to invest and was dedicated, I was able to test them for several years, and we've successfully pulled them off. I had Randy Oliver, who's one of the most published honeybee researchers, had him, he's very well recognized globally, look over the notes and help coach me in them. So I'm ready to publish them. I put some of them out there. I just talked about them with a beekeeping group. Anyway, it is harder, it is more expensive, it is more labor, but it is possible, and we're pulling it off. So our clients, we limit hives to 1 per 2 acres. A single hive needs an entire acre of food. Your lawn is never enough. So
right.
An entire acre. So we limit it to 2 acres so that we're sharing resources. Make sense?
Yeah.
That's one of
Yes.
the principles. One of the second principles is we never let our bees get sick or collapse. That way they cannot spread disease. Number 3, we don't let them starve ever, because if they're starving, they will outcompete other pollinators for limited resources. Number 4, we don't let them swarm ever. Now, that is a little unusual for a lot of beekeepers to consider. They also don't know how to pull that off.
Right.
They attempt many times to not allow a hive to swarm, and they'll make a split of the hive to try to convince it not to swarm. But we don't make splits, because that would also be letting the hive, that's the same result as the hives splitting or swarming, is that their numbers would be increasing. So we really limit hive numbers in quantity of hives and also how big they get. And it's 100% doable. And we've been 100% successful. I'm really proud of our work and that this method is working, and that it's a possibility. So people can learn it. It's far more labor. It's not lazy beekeeping. We are in our hives once every 5 days in spring and once every 7 days the rest of the year. Unless we're cold and rainy, which, if it's an El Nino year, maybe we will be.
Right, for sure, huh?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, again, I like that, and again, that perspective. It's not an either or type of thing. There's a way to manage and and to work.
We want to protect
those
all
sort of
the other
things,
species. Biodiversity is critical, and
Yeah.
for our species also.
Exactly,
And we're
huh?
an ecosystem. When you have one insect take over and the other, I mean, it's like an infestation. The whole plant dies. It's over.
Yeah.
That's the same concept. If we have one of only thing thriving and we're not helping to support the others, then what are we doing? That's
Yeah.
not good for our health. It's not good for our ecosystem, our microclimate. It's not good for the larger,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What are your thoughts on issues with the Africanization of bees? This
Okay,
was
so we
something I was
don't
listening
use
to someone talk about, and
that
they
term is
they were
actually
taking a huge either or position when they were taking, and I was like, I'm not sure. I'd like to learn a little bit more about this, but
You're
what's your
so
perspective
even
there?
keeled. I love it.
I try to be. I mean,
Well, you're talking
I
to a
just
lot
want to
of
learn.
people, so that's
I
good.
just want to
Yeah.
learn, the most I
Yeah.
can about most things and things like that too. And
So
again,
most of what I know about bees, I
yeah.
have to credit Randy Oliver. I killed my
Okay.
first hive. I killed my second hive. It's extremely common. I've been beekeeping. This is my 18th year. Oh my God.
Yeah. 18th
And
year. Wow.
yeah.
Nice.
So I have beekeepers that work for me that have 7+ years experience, and they still don't know how to read the combs. And by that, I mean the frame with the bee honeycomb
Okay.
on it, with the
Yeah.
eggs and the pollen. They still can look at that and not know what's going on in the hive.
Mm,
That's
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
And
You,
that's
you don't.
extremely common. That's the more
Okay.
common than not. So beekeeping is so difficult that it's really a lifelong learning. Even though I've had 18 years, I say I'm an amateur, because I say it to others because I want them to not feel bad and go into it knowing that this is, a life. Gardening is very much the same. Like you said, you're going to
Yeah.
keep learning for forever. And that's the best part, right?
Yep. Yes. That is the best
Yeah,
part.
stay curious and keep learning. So Randy Oliver taught me most of what I was lucky to be introduced to him. He is one of the leading honeybee researchers globally. He's extremely respected and a biologist. And he taught me that Africanized honeybees is the term that people use for defensive bees, that you cannot tell if they came or have any DNA visually.
Yeah.
There's no way for you to tell. You'd have to put them under a
Okay.
microscope. So first of
Oh.
all, there's that. And we've
Mhm.
had in California, we've had defensive bees before the DNA from Africa came over. It came over, it's a crazy story. The DNA from South Africa was extremely resilient and and it became defensive. So a researcher in Brazil was asking, can we take the same DNA and mix it with ours, but without the defensive element to it? And in fact, so they had the honeybees in like a tented, netted area, and
Okay.
there was an intern and he didn't know, and he opened all of the hives,
Oh
and so
my.
they migrated everywhere. And so they really prefer hot weather countries and states. So they're in Southern California, Nevada, Arizona. They can kill horses and dogs. We have them in Burbank, and they kill horses and dogs, and
Oh
they can kill
wow.
people. Yeah, they can kill people. Now,
Yeah.
the exact same DNA is in another country, and it is extremely docile. So why? Because the honeybees that came from South Africa have a predator called the honey badger. And if you haven't seen the viral video from 1,000,000 years ago, the honey badger doesn't give a shit, and he will bite the heads off snakes, and he will eat a beehive and get stung 1,000 times. He doesn't give a shit. So because of that resilience of the honey badger, they had to become more defensive, the bees. So it is not actually scientifically correct to call defensive bees Africanized. A, you have no idea what your DNA is without looking at them
Yeah.
under a microscope. B, unless your DNA came from Africa, and
Yeah.
by nature, that DNA, the same bee is docile. So it's not what they are is resilient, and they're resilient, and they know how to defend themselves and adjust as needed. So it's
Yeah.
not really accurate to call them Africanized. A. We
Okay.
say defensive, and then you could say highly defensive. They are murderous to work with. They will make you a much better beekeeper. Much better, because you're going to be afraid to put your hands near them. You're going to be afraid your nervous system is going to go whoop as soon as you
Yeah.
open the hive. So you're going
Yeah.
to pay way more attention. You're going to have laser focus on your actions. You're going to squish fewer bees because you are going to move more carefully. Randy Oliver
Yeah.
taught me to move like you're doing Tai Chi underwater. That's how we
Okay.
Yes. So working with that DNA will make you a better beekeeper. It is bad. They are more resilient to mites, but Randy has also, and he did this not because he wanted to become a queen breeder. Let me explain what that is, because most people don't know. You can actually breed queen bees. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not that difficult to do. You just, you feed a cell more royal jelly than the
Yep.
other cells that the eggs would normally get, and then that cell grows bigger. So and the bees do it, they feed it, so you don't have to do anything. So they get the queen bee started, and then they raise them. Queen bee breeders exist to support our terrible pollination services. We can rant about them for forever. They're not changing. Not in my lifetime, not in your kid's lifetime. So
Yeah.
they are what we have. Now, a lot of people, we can come back to that, but pollination's pretty massive. We move honeybee colonies from commercial beekeepers, they're called, because
Yep.
they usually have 50 plus hives. Some of them have 1,000.
Yeah.
They're
I've seen
massive
trucks
operations.
of those things,
Yes.
semi trucks with the
And they
beds
move
full of them.
from all over the country.
Especially down in California. I've
They
seen a
come
lot
to
of them.
California for almonds.
Almonds. Yep.
We grow
Yeah.
more almonds than anywhere else. And what's really sad is that we grow them for the world. That's
Yeah.
not necessary. People should be eating what's local to them, more
Right.
of that, and shipping less. So that's why it's a problem. And so we truck them, massive trucks from state across the country, and this happens in Europe also. But it's a different situation here. We're just so massive. And so we'd have cranberries, melons. It's I don't know, it's 113 crops. It's insane. It's an insane
Yeah.
amount. We would not eat the variety of food that we eat without honeybee pollination and this terrible trucking of bees. Now,
Yeah.
it's an unnatural thing to grow just almonds and acres and acres and acres of them. So
Hmm.
this is why you have to truck the bees to them. They don't know to come in the
Yep.
numbers that are necessary. So
Yeah.
I'm just explaining this for the layperson because otherwise
Hmm.
it's like, why? You know, and so those are called monocrops. It's one item that the farmer is growing. And if they had native bee hedgerows, pollinators would come in bigger
You're
numbers, and
right.
but they would have to be organic because they would end up killing them if they had native hedgerows for them. Anyway,
Yeah.
so it's a problem with pollination, but it's what it is, and you and I aren't changing it.
Yeah, that's kind of, that is kind of the thing. And it is, we got systems that are put in place by, a larger sense of our society and world than us
Yeah,
individually who are
you and I
concerned
think
about things
big
on whatever
ag.
level we are, you
Yeah.
know, it's,
And until this year, we used to feed the world, and we still
yeah.
do. In some ways, we used to feed more of the
But it
world.
still doesn't
But
mean we can't just do the little things that we're doing to do our part, though, which I think is something
yes,
that's really great that you're doing. You did mention real quick, and I wanted to get this before we go, and you did mention a little bit earlier about the LA fires and some of the things
oh yeah, I
going on
learned
after that.
so much last year and this year,
Yeah,
and
you did a lot of posts about that, I
we're
remember. Yeah.
about to publish our study. I'm so proud it'll be the first scientific study I'll have my name on if it publishes.
Oh man,
But
that's gonna be great.
yeah, so stay tuned because we actually had something significant that we learned, and I'm really hopeful that we can help future fire victims and also people. I learned a lot about like where it is dangerous to just plant food
Mm.
because of the lead paint that's it was used in the 1930s on houses
Oh,
and all the
yeah.
way up to the 70s. We had cars and leaded gas. So certain areas of your home, your parkway and surrounding your home are more at risk. And we tested homes for contaminants just to see what the fallout from the ash was like that weren't near the fires as well as
Yeah.
concentrated in the fire perimeters. And that was really interesting because we had some people who were super high at curbsides. And,
Mm.
I just hired a
Yeah.
staff and he said, I'm putting these raised beds right next to my little cottage. And I said, check the date of your home,
Oh.
test that soil. And then,
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense though, too,
yeah, and
if
then
you
use
are
Randy
coming out of
Ritchie's
something like that.
method. Don't use phytoremediation to try to remediate soil for contaminants ever, because when you grow a sunflower, yes, it will take that up. It'll even take out nuclear waste, but where do
Mhm.
you put it after?
Right.
So
Yeah.
we don't want to put lead into the landfill. It's not even allowed. It
Right.
has to go. Yeah. So there's a better way. It's an easier way. It's a cheaper way. And Randy Ritchie has a book on it. He owns Malibu Compost. And he
Okay.
also #2 Organics. He's been remediating soil longer than anyone. His methods are super inexpensive and
Okay.
really easy. Yeah. And they don't require burying anything or removing anything, all of which would put you at more risk to exposure to contaminants in your soil. The stuff we can't see, people are very laissez-faire about. They think it's not a big deal. This stuff is really a big deal. Like it could change your health for your life. It's very scary.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
just
who is
because you
this?
can't see it,
Randy from
Randy
Malibu
Ritchie,
Compost?
Ritchie. He owns Malibu Compost and he owns another company called #2 Organics. And I
Okay.
think his social media and his website are Grow Real Organic. And he's
Okay.
just a fantastic community member here in LA. He's been remediating soils for decades.
Yeah.
And he goes to old defunct farms and takes their soil and remediates it and makes it healthy, rich, biodynamic compost. He's amazing. So
Wow.
I learned a lot about soil science this year, and that was really, really, really helpful and hopeful, because I've been through the Malibu fires, Laguna Beach fires in
Yeah.
1993, and I
Mm.
had to evacuate client hives in the last fires, and I trampled over like 150, I think, samples I took out of both Altadena and Palisades in the ruins. And
Wow.
yeah, so I'm
Could be some good
hoping,
information coming out of that, especially as we're facing more and more of these sort of wildfire scenarios
yeah,
in
climate
our
warming
future.
are
And again,
inevitable. Yeah.
yeah, and again, you talked about how warm it was with the heat waves you had down there in Southern California. I'm in Southern Oregon, so we get some of the tail of that sort of stuff. The last heat dome, we were pretty warm, not as hot as you guys in triple digits down there, but it's still pretty warm. So it makes me even worry here, being up in Oregon and all of that, how warm things are so early this year, that
Yeah.
what we could be facing this summertime.
Yeah, I'm
So
really
again,
worried that
it's
hillsides will go brown really early this year, and that will be in summer from what
yeah, and see, and again, you mentioned that, and I tell everybody around here, I says you can be worried more and more as you watch, because we live in a valley, and it's similar for you guys in LA. You can just see all these hills and hillsides all around you, and they start off nice and green coming out of the winter time, but how fast do they go brown? And that's what I tell
and
everybody. I
for
say, how
LA,
fast it goes brown around us, you'll know. And it's like, again, last year, I know it was like early May,
yeah,
where it was all brown, and then it
yeah,
could be
it's way,
late April for us this time, because I'm already starting
yeah.
to see things starting to brown up a little bit. And I'm
Usually
like,
for us, it's July, August.
yeah, exactly. And up here, we start to see the snow caps off our volcanoes go completely. I
Oh, yeah.
never saw any of that my whole life growing up in the Pacific Northwest. I'd never seen any of our volcanoes without a white cap on them. And you can go and drive around and see some of them during midsummer time that are just glaciers are gone. So yeah, again, it's just what we got to think about in the future. And again, those things are just things we're going to have to deal with as it comes, because some things, those sort of patterns and weather and things are almost just kind of set, for however long they can be dealt with. But I did want to also talk to you before we get you gone out of here. Following along with you, I noticed that you've been taking some trips and getting to going some places around the world this
Yeah, my
last year.
partner is an archaeologist, or I probably wouldn't go anywhere.
Oh man,
But
tell us
so
about some
he's
of these
always,
places you've been.
yeah, he's always going
What you've
somewhere
been up
fantastic.
to.
So
Wow.
I'm like, if you're going, I'm going. And
Yeah, and you
I'm
find something to
honestly
do for yourself there, huh?
so freaking busy with the company's growth and all that we're doing. So, but it's really good, because as a business owner, as a small business owner, you can really burn out
Yeah.
really quickly. So it's been restorative. And I've tried to, like, we just went to Italy. We were in, and my partner's really good about finding these unique things. Like, he'll find regenerative farms, or he found like a museum that had medicinal plants in Italy.
Mhm.
It was
Right?
so amazing. A museum of medicinal plants that
Yeah.
in like a tiny Italian village I had no idea existed. He's so great about this stuff. So yeah, I've been trying, where obviously this is a personal passion and sickness. I can't even go on
Yeah,
vacation
let me
and get away
sickness.
from it. But it's
No, because
restorative. I
now
love
it's the
it.
opportunity to be seeing things in a totally different place of the similar interest, and what did they got going. So you got to dig even deeper a little bit and take that
Yeah, and
opportunity. I mean, it's
we
like a
went to these.
once in a lifetime opportunity, right?
Yeah, I learned all about Italy's history. Like, they've never had tomatoes in Roman
Mm.
times. It's
Yeah,
bonkers to
and that's
think that,
something to think
right?
about. Yeah. Like what you think is like really would be the tomato capital of the world, right? Italy and their
Yeah.
tomato sauces and all that sort of stuff. But no, yeah, I mean it's something to think about, that tomatoes were brought to them like way after, when you would think that they'd already be making pizzas, right?
And they had ancient frescoes with orchard in them. So I was trying to I went down a rabbit hole identifying all the fruits, and they didn't have citrus until later. So it was
Hmm.
really fascinating because you know, it's really easy as a layperson to look at a red fruit and go, that's an apple, or, a
Yeah.
pomegranate or what. And so
Right.
it was really fun to find out what they actually did have back then and where they came from and what fruits came, you know.
Yeah.
And I met with the head of the American Academy in Rome, which is a school that masters and PhD program artists and other uh, my partner went as an archaeologist, can get a scholarship and study for a year or multiple years. And they had Alice Waters come redo their kitchen because tragically they didn't have any good food, which is really sad in Rome. And so they changed that. And now they have an all organic garden and a whole thing. And so I met this chef and I was talking to her about what she could grow and where and how. They have invasive parrots just like we do in Los Angeles that were
Oh,
pets that have migrated, and they're devastating their olive trees.
oh my.
Devastating. Yeah, and they are definitely out competing some of our native birds here. They're pets that people have released, and they came from tropical
Wow.
places, and they're thriving because we're getting warmer and warmer. And you would never
Right.
think they would make it in Europe, and they're totally making it in Europe.
Oh my.
Uh-huh. Bonkers.
Oh wow, that's something to think about, right?
Yeah.
I have never thought about that in a sense, but yeah, people who releasing their birds like that.
Yeah.
And again, though, the idea that the climate's changing in their favor,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Wild.
I know.
Right on, right on. So Italy, anywhere else that you got to go this last
Uh,
year?
we're headed to Chile
Oh,
in
okay.
July. I'm
Oh
chasing
wow.
the eternal winter.
That's
That
that.
surf
Yes,
movie where
I've
they
talked
chase
about
the
it.
eternal summer.
Yes, yes. You want
I
the
am
winter.
so
You want the
tired
winter,
of
though.
yeah, I work outdoors. And
I'm the opposite, man. I'm in search for the eternal summer.
yeah, so when it's warm out, we start the day at 6 a.m. usually. So,
Right.
and I've never been a morning person in my life, so like it's not fun to me to get up in the dark.
Right.
But this, so I've become a cool winter person. I don't like cold, like 30 degrees is not my favorite, but
Right.
I'm much more able to handle it now than I used to be. And I love, cooler weather. So we're headed to Chile in July, which is their winter. So I'm excited
Hmm.
to see, yeah, all that nature. It'll be incredible. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, last year, I know I went to 5 countries in 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was traveling a lot.
Did you get
Uh,
to Australia?
I did, and that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
really,
Tell us about
really
what you did
cool.
over there. I remember following along with some of that. I was
Yeah,
kind of.
they I was in Sydney, so I was a bit far from things. It's, like the United States, it's a bit spread out, so but that's where my partner's conference was. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say there was some sort of conference or something that was
I
down
took a
there.
day trip and I went to the Blue Mountains, and that was stunningly beautiful, like jaw-dropping beautiful waterfalls.
Mm.
Just amazing. And it's always fun when you're in a foreign place to find plants that you recognize and
Oh
go,
yeah. Right.
oh, they have this. Is it native for them too? Or is it invasive? Like,
Right.
and,
Right.
yeah. And then to see their native, there are 40,000 native bees and 2,000 in the United States. I'm pretty sure that's correct. And so they have all kinds of different species than we have. So it's fun,
Yeah.
like to get
Do you
small.
find that they're dealing with similar issues?
I would say Europe is more aware and has been more aware about the native bees. They have much larger populations of native bees than we do.
Okay.
But a lot of them have more cool weather than we do in Southern California, and they
Yeah.
have actual winter. We used to get
Yeah.
winter and, it's
Hmm.
vanished. We're going years and years. I always say the most important thing you could do in your garden depends on your ecosystem.
Yeah.
And we have pollinators starving from August through winter if we don't get one.
Yeah.
Monarch butterflies are not going to go into diapause.
Right.
So they're not going to take a break from laying or mating and go in the trees. And so then when they do the counts, are the counts real? Because we
Right.
don't know
Are
what the
they
counts
then just
are.
being pushed off to
They're,
somewhere
yeah.
else or having to
And
travel
the last
further?
50
And
years, they're in our
yeah.
beaches on California, northern and southern. They're not even
Mm.
bothering to go to Mexico. We're getting a year-round population. And
Wow.
ours in California, they need year-round milkweed. And people
Mhm.
have shamed to death the Mexican milkweed. We used to
Yeah.
have fields and fields of it. Fields and
Wow.
fields of it in California. And there's
Yeah.
no science saying that it causes the
You
butterfly
got
to do anything.
you got almond trees.
We have almond trees in
Yeah.
in the Central Valley. We do.
Right, right. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
saying, but yeah, that's just crazy to think about. Yeah, and but fun trips though. Again, too, it's really fun following along with all that. Again, any other fun things you got coming up for 2026? Any cool? Oh, I actually just mentioned real quick because I did, and you did talk about it just briefly at the beginning. But you also have a garden you're developing on a motion picture lot. What can you tell
Yeah,
us
it's a
about
major
that?
motion picture lot. I'm not allowed to say the name. It's one everyone knows.
Yeah,
It's in Culver City. I can say that. Um,
yeah. Is it
and
a secret there for a reveal that they're going to do or
nope, I'm
something?
just not allowed to say their name
Okay.
in social media. So it's
Oh, what a
massive.
bummer.
It's
Yeah,
massive. And we get to go on the set, the lot every single day. And we
yeah,
just finished mapping the entire thing the last 2 weeks. And we mapped all the irrigation. Um, they're on a budget. So like whenever corporate does something like this, I'm really happy when people applaud them. So I wish they could say their name so people could say bravo.
right.
Also, it's
Exactly.
nice to
Yeah.
hear about a company doing something good.
Yeah, yeah, because that's why I was kind of thinking, like, they wouldn't want their name hidden forever. Like, is there a reveal? Were they coming down the road or something? Maybe they'll wait for the project to be done and go, okay, this is something to
And I'm
put out
guessing
there.
that
I don't
it
know.
will
It
be
is kind of something.
featured also in movies and TV shows potentially because they were doing a photo shoot in it just last week. I consulted the chef like for the last year. He is really the hero of the project and the company. He came from another state where he had a farm or a pretty large garden for his restaurant, and he just couldn't not have it. So he went to them and he got them to give him space in the traditional landscape soils areas.
Yeah,
So it would be landscape plants that landscapers would come in and rip out every season and put new in. That stuff.
right.
That like
Yeah,
totally nondescript stuff. So he got space, and it's a significant space because he kept growing and kept adding. He's amazing. And that they
yeah,
gave it to him is really dedicated and incredible. So he came to us and he said, I have a job. I run a he runs 2 restaurants and all the cafes and catering. He feeds over 1,200 with just the restaurants. And then he does catering for several TV shows like Shark Tank and all this. So you can figure out what studio it is now. But he is really busy. So he came to me last year just to ask about adding honeybees to the project. And that didn't happen, but he met me. And when I was walking through what he had done, I said, you could do this and have edible flowers. Or you could do this and have triple that harvest and 1/3 the water. And so he just grew to trust me and my
yeah,
knowledge. And so he had us quote the project to tend it and install it, and we're going to grow it. We've pretty much, we're taking out most of what he has in place, the majority of it. We're repurposing some of the plants because we save plants everywhere we can. And
yeah,
we're leaving all of the orchard, I think, for now, and all of the artichokes, for instance, and the rhubarb. But the rest of it we're clearing, and then we're going to put in crops that hit his bottom line, which is his goal, and that's
yeah,
extremely difficult to do with a restaurant and a farm. It almost will
yeah.
never make
No,
enough impact to pay for itself ever. It will never. I will tell you this
right.
straight up. You have to
Yeah.
use it as an employee benefit, and gardens are. They raise
Mm-hmm.
they just touching soil shifts your brain. The
Being
same
around plants,
Yes.
life, greenery, all that. Have you heard of the
That's
spheres up in Seattle?
What are they called?
It's called the spheres that Amazon actually built for their employees. And it's in downtown Seattle. It's this big, huge bubbles. It looks like these big, huge bubbles. And they're like, 3-4 stories big, huge. And inside of it's all like tropical trees and plants, walls of plants and inside. And it was all just originally built as a space for their employees to be around plants and, the flowing water and nature. Whereas, being in the city, you can't really send them off, and this sort of thing, they're like, well, let's build this just really cool plantscape, right in the middle of the city that people can go to right there, mainly, their employees at first, but now you can go and do tours of the place. And it's just a really cool kind of thing. And I like that kind of concept though, especially for folks who do live in cities. Bring more nature, let's bring more of those things for people to be able to have access to that. So they don't have to travel out. Again, I've been to LA. I mean, LA is really cool though too, is that, there is a ton of natural scapes and hikes and things.
You just have to know where to go.
Yeah. There's for more than most cities do, which is really great. But it's we want more of that stuff in a city. And that's why, again, urban gardening, I love teaching people and showing people about small space gardening to show them that you can grow even in a city, with small spaces. You don't think you can do anything with, we can find things to get you around plants.
Our smallest client, and he's a longtime client, is a professor, and he has a condominium on the ocean, and we we do a hydroponic system on his condo patio.
Yeah.
And pots, he has blueberries, he has citrus, he has Meyer lemons, he has tomatoes. He has more heirloom tomatoes than he can eat.
Yeah. There you go. And you get more than you can eat, which is great on some things, but you can't grow everything you want for the most part. But guess what? You get to grow enough of some things to give you a good connection to your food, to nature, to plants, to, again, pollinators and all these other great things that we get from a garden space, and you can grow those anywhere. I love it. Awesome, Robin. Just really amazing of you to come and hang out with us on video. I mean, we got you. No, but still wonderful conversation. I love everything that you're up to. You're one of my favorite people to follow on Instagram. Nice. And so I really do encourage people to check out links down below so you can go and find Robin's online Instagram and all of that and follow along as well too. Such great stuff and projects. Your projects are so fun and things that you're doing are so cool.
I've been so busy. I haven't been posting that much, but this project at the motion picture company is really exciting. It also has a monarch butterfly element, and we're gonna. I'm hoping we are going to work with the staff for community science, so there's a lot of great stuff.
You get to show stuff that you're building, right? You're gonna be able to put pictures and little videos and stuff. You just can't say who it is. That's all, right?
Yep.
Well, cool.
Exactly.
Excellent.
So, and harvest and the whole bit. And we're doing living walls because the chef wants to increase the growing space in every way he can, was to maximize it. So as the budget goes along in the year, we're starting with one, and then we're going to probably do a lot of them. So that's exciting because our custom living walls that we design and install offer more habitat than any other kind of gardening and farming. And I had no idea. And they raise they raise our birds. We have little baby birds in them every year for every client that installs them. They're so cute.
Right on. Love it. I love it. There's so many awesome things. I encourage everybody who's watching, again, to go check out the links down below in the description there. Go follow along with what Robin's got growing over at Honey Girl Grows. And hopefully we'll get you back on again down the road and catch up with whatever travels and things that you're up to when it comes to later in the season and all of that as well too. Again, really wonderful conversation. Thank you for joining us
today. Super good to see you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Take care.
You got it. All right. Excellent. I told you we were going to have a really great show for you here today. I mean, what an amazing couple of guests that we had here with us today. Earlier on Are You Following Me? We had Michelle's Garden Grows with us. Really great conversation. And then for our featured guest today, Robin Jones of Honey Girl Grows, talking about all sorts of just great stuff about pollinators and bees and some really great travels and projects that she's got going on. I again encourage all of you to get down below in the description there, follow along to those links there, go check out one of their videos or posts and let them know that you saw them here on the Let's Get Growing show. And again, everybody, lots and lots growing on here on the Let's Get Growing show. Before we head out, I want to let you know what we've got coming up this weekend. That's right. We're back at it again tomorrow for the Sunday edition of the Let's Get Growing show. That's right. We're back at it with our good friend. That's time for another appointment with Dr. Jeff Pierce. We come back here on the show to talk more about gardening as medicine. We're going to talk about social connectedness tomorrow, and really how we can utilize garden spaces and our garden spaces to connect more with folks and people and build community around us. Sometimes gardening can be a little isolating, but we can do some things to really make sure that we're connecting with people. And again, the gardening community is one of the best places, most open, awesome, amazing people you're going to find. So what better community to go and connect with. We'll talk more about that with Dr. Jeff tomorrow on the show. And then again, like I said, we're back at it again Monday. We're 3 days of gardening talk here, but Monday evenings now for the Green Room. That's right. We have the Green Room on Monday evenings with our good friend Natalie from the Fresh Princess as our co-host. And this Monday on the show, we've got the Reckless Garden joining with us. Anna from the Reckless Garden will be back on the show to join with us on the Green Room, along with our good friend Mike Van Duzy from Keep On Growing. We'll be here for the conversation on Monday evening. So again, looking forward to that. Also, I mentioned earlier too, we have our monthly gardening book club coming up here in just a couple of weeks. The third Sunday of the month, April 19th, we're going to have with us on the show Emily Murphy. She's got her book Grow Now. We're featuring for our April selection. So definitely come and join with us this Sunday after next. It'll be Sunday after next is the third Sunday of the month for our monthly gardening book club. So lots and lots of great things growing on here on the show coming up here later this weekend. And then again, we'll be back at it again next week as well too. And next Saturday on the Let's Get Growing show, we're going to have joining with us Mike McGrath from the radio show, NPR show, You Bet Your Garden will be joining with us. Mike's a great, fun conversation. We'll talk a little bit about his retirement, semi-retirement, as he's put it, and all sorts of other things he's got growing here in 2026, as well as homestead culture will be joining with us for our Are You Following Me as well, coming up this next week on the show as well. Come and join with us tomorrow, and we'll let you know about who we've got coming up or what we got going on for next Sunday and further on down the road with next Monday's show and all of that as well too. So again, everybody, thank you so much for being here with us today. If you can, before you head out, let's go ahead and click that thumbs up if you didn't get a chance to yet, as well as subscribe. Hit the bell notification to be notified of all of our upcoming shows, as well as share with all your friends and let them know about our 3-day gardening weekend here on the Let's Get Growing show. And lots and lots coming up, lots of great guests. And again, everybody, thank you so much for being here. You guys make it so fun to do these shows, watching your chats and conversations and getting your questions and comments and all of that. Thank you all so much for spending your time with us here this Saturday. And we'll see you for the Sunday edition tomorrow. I'll see all of you then.
is the ugliest plant in the world, but I love it.